Hello everyone, and welcome back to the return of my Soccer Manager 25 career mode. Today, we are doing more of the Ipswich career, and we are doing the start of the Premier League season and the conclusion of the pre-season tournament with the finale against Werder Bremen to begin. Well, I went into this thinking potentially we had a chance of winning, but obviously it's Ipswich, so I had to work out who are we going to play, who are we going to put on the bench. And originally I put Broadhead on the bench, and then I stuck with it and hoped that I could substitute him in at some point. I had decent hopes going into the game, and then this glitch always occurs when I firstly open the app for the first time. But then it sorts itself, and so I had pretty good hopes. We were doing pretty well. I always quick play the game because I really can't be bothered to do the whole game. Was trying to sort that out, went slightly attacking, and then made another substitution. Didn't use Broadhead in the end, which was a bit annoying. And I was like, let's go to extra time. And then 95th minute winner for Werder Bremen. So we're not going to get any benefit from the pre-season tournament at the start of the season. No money from that. It's fine. We can still make some more transfers. There's still a few days until the transfer window closes. I believe it is 3 days because it closes on the 2nd of September. So there's plenty of time, and as you can see, we've lost. Wolves is our first game of the season. We have to win that. We have to beat Wolves for the first game of the season. As we look here, and this guy looks pretty good, so we're going to put him on the shortlist for the future because we already bought Aribo, so we're fine for now. And I've then decided, let's try and ask our scout to find someone useful then. Maybe a left-back, because we don't really have any left-backs apart from Leif Davis. And I'm like, someone cheap, so we can afford it. Presumably someone who hasn't got lots on their contract, and someone who's obviously been listed, but we don't know that for certain. I guess we will see about that. And then I've decided, let's maybe do some work on the club zone, because I saw a comment of someone telling me to do that. Thank you to whoever that was. They told me to do some club facilities, and I am going to do that. Then we have some bids here, which I was like, you're bidding for our players? Absolutely not. I'm not going to accept either of them. So then we continue. We're into August, and I got that wrong. There's still a month left of the transfer window, but by the end of it, there won't be. We go to the youth. There's already a couple of good players there. And And then I decided to upgrade it as well because, important to upgrade youth and club. They're the two most important to upgrade throughout your career. As you can see, Jack Clark is very much growing very quickly there. I accidentally almost exited. Shouldn't have done that. And we decided to sell Burgess because, I didn't really have any plans for him in the future. So instead, I was like, why don't we spend the money that we just received from that on another player, like a centre-back? And this might have been one of my more stupid choices because then I decided to do all those. And then I spent ages trying to find someone who I could sign. Straight away went to Dominic Hyam, who actually isn't even good enough to make the bench. Except, stupidly, we're going to spend 2.4 million on him. No, actually we're not, because it got not allowed. Then 2.6 million, and then I said I would make him a rotation player because, he might be good enough to make the bench occasionally. And then I realised we have about 4 centre-backs better than him, and I'm like, oh shoot, so what should I do? And then I decided to see, should I bench him? And then I decided, nah. And then I found out he's one of the worst rated players in our main team. He's about as good as Tuanzebe. He's worse than Tuanzebe, actually. And that was a stupid mistake then. And then I tried to transfer list one of the centre-backs and it didn't work. And, So we continue towards the first game. Oh, God's sake, Godfrey's been injured. We're a couple of days away now. We're coming up to the big match. And we're just doing our training. And then we're fast forwarding. And we are now at the first game of the season. This is a must win. As you can see, there's been a couple of games that have already happened. In fact, our win is one of just 2 games that haven't happened. And we'll go over all the previous results afterwards. So now we're trying to focus on who do we play, in what position, in what formation. Decided to go with a sort of 4-3-3, but then I decided maybe make it a bit of a 4 5-1 potentially. And I also had to put a couple of other players on the bench. I wanted to put another striker just in case. Put in Hyam. And we have our 4-3-3/4-5-1 to start the match. And obviously Wolves are a better team than us. They've got Cunha up front, as you know. And immediately, right off the start, we've had a very quick start. Delap and Semedo both scoring in the first half. And as per usual, Delap is our saviour. And he will prove to be the main reason why we did well in this game. Also, we switched now to a proper 4-5-1. And there goes another one from Delap and another one from Delap. Meaning he scored a hat-trick on his Premier League debut for Ipswich. And that means that we're going to pick up our first 3 points of the season. And we're going to cherish that because that's against the relegation threatened side. My apologies. And that is an important win. As you can see, Delap, 10 out of 10, man of the match. Hopefully that may his form continue like that. Unfortunately, it didn't, but you'll see why. And we've actually scored 10 goals now in this Ipswich career mode. And now we're going to go through the games, the results. So as you can see, ahead, there were quite a few shock results. For example, my team, Everton, they lost to Southampton. Arsenal thrashed Chelsea 4-0 thanks to Mohamed Salah, their new signing. Liverpool signed Thuram, and he scored that goal. Watkins getting a hat-trick against West Ham, putting towards the top of the goal-scoring table. Jota Silva scored there twice for Forest. And Nketiah got a late goal for Palace. Brighton thrashed Fulham 4-1 at home. And as you can see previously, United and Leicester drew 0-0. And City, thanks to Kevin De Bruyne, were able to beat Brentford. Continuing on, I then saw this guy. I'm like, Luongo, you're not good enough to be a first-team player. And then the list came back. I found this guy, who I tried to make a loan bid for, and I just realised I haven't even played him once. But he looked pretty good. He had potential to be like in the 80s. So we sent a loan bid, and then I tried to sell Townsend, which didn't work, as you'll see. But we have a decent left-back already in Leif Davis. And as you see, we're somehow 4th in the league by this point. That's the highest we're ever going to be for the first start of the season. Again, I then tried to get rid of him. I couldn't. I put him on the bench. Now we have Boyer in the team. And now we have an away trip to Tottenham, which in real life ended with a 2-1 victory. Well, obviously this game won't be realistic, so we're probably not going to win 2-1. And there is Luongo, and I put him on the bench because, And then I also put Taylor and Hutchinson in, and Clark. And I'm really not allowing Ogbene to even get into the team. And since we're at the advert break anyway, now is a good time to remind everyone who's watching, like and subscribe for more videos like this. And I really hope that you guys are enjoying these kind of videos. And now back to the Soccer Manager match. And away to Tottenham, and Delap has scored already. That is insane. What a start. Thank you, Liam Delap. 4 goals in 2 games in the Premier League. Delap for Ballon d'Or has already started. And then I've made 4 substitutions. And immediately Richarlison has doubted me. And then Solanke. And then we've collapsed from a 1-goal victory. And that is a recurring theme this season, that we're going to bottle leads. Uncanny that we've done it against Spurs, though, to be fair. And we trudge on from our first defeat of the season. Still, with 3 points from 2 games is enough to put us in the top 8, which is pretty good, but there are a couple of teams behind who haven't played. As you can see, City Palace 0-0 draw, as was Wolves Arsenal. Chelsea Southampton also a draw. Southampton doing very well at the start. Again, Everton losing, emotional damage. Fulham winning, United winning, and then Villa thrashed Newcastle 4-1, thanks to new signing Conrad Lima. I think Liverpool won this next game, and then we have a look at the League Cup. We've been drawn against Lincoln from League One, so that's not a difficult game. Might play a couple of my second-string squad, because they're a League One side, so we should be able to perform well. And then we find out that our facilities are actually doing pretty well. And then I'm like, well, let's keep improving the club, because I just noticed that we have just earned quite a bit of money from that. We're on about 28 million, and there you can see loads of people upgrading. Oh, and also, I decided let's have a bit of a cash in bursts. Oh, hell no, you guys aren't signing Leif Davis. He's our starting left-back. And then Smodix asked us, can I play? And I'm like, yeah, sure, you're pretty much one of our best midfielders, and I'm going to play a front two. And obviously that aged extremely well, didn't it? You'll just see why. Playing with a front two is maybe not our best idea. I'm going to stick with Delap just being the lone striker up front before someone like Chelsea comes in, just like real life. And I decided, let's give a debut to the young right back because... Oh, and also Ogbene starts for the first time because I've originally found out that, like, he came from Luton. We really are not allowing him to play, and we already 1-0 down to Chelsea. And it's Cole Palmer as per the usual. And we go into the second half, and I brought on that youngster to hope that something well will happen. Chaplin in as well, Phillips in as well. And then everything deteriorated a bit more after Delap scored, and then David Datro Fofana, I think, scored. So Delap's now got 5 goals in 3 games, so he very much is in for the battle for the Golden Boot for the Premier League with 5 goals in the 3 games. Although it's a little bit unfortunate that we've lost again to Chelsea. But in real life, I'm pretty sure away... I actually don't remember what happened. I think Chelsea won that, but I know Ipswich beat Chelsea 2-0 thanks to Hutchinson en route to getting relegated. So we're not going to imitate real life, and we're going to avoid losing and avoid getting relegated from the Premier League. That is our goal. Just stay up. As you can see, we're now into the bottom half for the first time this season after that first win, and you can see our facilities have already improved. The facilities are great here, and I decided maybe let's not improve that anymore. Then I deciding again, shall we ever look for another player? And I get confused. Who should I try and find? And I decided, let's go right back. Kind of old, not super old, maybe before 30, because then it's sell on a free. If any Football Manager fans out there are watching, you'll know what that means. And then we try and find someone who's interested, and then obviously that fails because you can't find someone who's transfer listed with less than 24 months. And I realised that, so I put any, and there were 3 people there, Capaldo, Assignon, and someone else that I didn't see. So I decided, why don't we sign Assignon, because we are missing a player. 6.6 million seems like a good fee. We don't especially have lots of options at right back. I think we already have one decent right back in Ben Johnson, but if he gets injured, who are we going to put at right back? And I tried to sell him, and then I put him as a rotation player because I wanted to put Assignon in the first team, and I realised we don't have a lot of youth players anymore. So I've stuck him in instead of Hayam because, you know, he's not exactly going to get anything. And Wolfenden I put in instead as well of, I think, was it Townsend? Yeah. And we carry on, and we're coming up to the next game, Everton, as also we realise Jack Clark's just got injured. He's torn his groin. That's a horrendous injury. And he's going to be out for up to 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks, 2 months. Sorry. And we're basically going to be without a proper left winger for 2 months, so we are going to struggle. And against my better judgment, we have to now move Massimo Luongo to the first team. And we're all building up to the Everton match. Obviously, I was conflicted here because in real life I support Everton. Yet in this career mode, I want us to beat Everton. And no, you're not having Chaplin. And now we come up to the game. Let's go and stick a couple players in, and we realise Dara O'Shea is really upset, so that's not going to bode well. And I remember now Assignon for right back. He's even better than Johnson now that he's gone up a little bit. And I also put Jens Kayuste on the bench. Assignon fits nicely into that number 2 shirt, and we carry on putting other players onto the bench. Again, Hayam forcing his way onto the bench. And as you can see, Everton have signed a couple players, including Ryan Shirky. And that means that as we go through the first half, we're already 1-0 down to Calvert-Lewin, who is definitely not as good as he is in real life in the game. Because in the game, he is really good. But in real life, he sometimes performs well and sometimes doesn't perform well. And then Beto finishes us off. So we've beaten one of our relegation rivals 2-1, lost to the other one 2-0. And then lost 2-1 to 2 big teams, which seems pretty good on the face of it. We haven't lost by more than 2 goals in one game. Although we have lost 3 of our first 4 games, which means we're actually ahead of Everton by a single goal. West Ham, really not doing well. Minus 11 goal difference so far. But as you can see, Liverpool, Villa and Forest are the top 3. And when I come back for the next episode, we will be recording that League Cup game.